Welcome to In the Know with Steph and Joe. In the Know with Steph and Joe is all about small business development. These two entrepreneurs bring real-life experience, laughter, and, well, just a ton of knowledge on how to build your small business and make it thrive. After all, this is your creation. Now learn how to make it sing. In the Know with Steph and Joe airs Fridays at 3 p.m. right here on 216 The Net. Like, follow Steph's books and Restoration One of Cary, along with 216 The Net on Facebook, and subscribe to the 216 The Net YouTube channel.
Hello. Thank you very much. It is the new year. Stop it. Happy New Year. Yeah, wow. That was impressive. Yeah.
To the side.
Today's
like,
topic, new
like
year,
that,
new
like
topic, new
the
us,
neighbor
new
from the
you. Who are you with?
No.
Oh,
We're having
Mr.
side
Wilson.
conversation.
Mr. Wilson.
We're having
I
side
actually was
conversations,
listening
but
to
yeah.
that too.
So it's
Hi, Steph.
So yeah, so
New
today
year.
we're going to be doing
We do
MINGS
In the Know with
versus
Steph and
WINGS
Joe.
versus co-ed networking groups, and everybody's comfortability, shop talk that goes on. So everybody has to spill the tea if they've been to any of those female only or men only
Groups.
or co-ed networking functions. So we will change the names per usual to protect the innocent or the guilty. And so we'll,
Hang on.
well, except for Joe, he always just rats himself out, but you know.
Pretty much. I don't care about what I say about myself. Hi, Ted. Happy New Year. I would assume that all of us here have been to a co-ed networking group.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I would assume that we can all check that one off the list, right?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Been to plenty here.
Yeah. Any outtakes? How do you feel plus minus? Does it matter?
Well, George, you run a BNI group, right?
Yeah, I do. I launched a chapter that had been meeting in Woodstock for years, and we moved over to McHenry just about a year ago. And it was, co-ed from day one and a lot of fun from day one.
Is it the people?
It's a great mix of people. Yeah.
That's really, let's call it what makes a group a great group, right? It's the people.
It is the people.
Well, I feel like you're not going to join a group if you're not vibing with the people that are participating in the
I
group.
feel like some people are group sluts, and they do.
Oh, I can't.
Group slut.
I
That's a
see.
new one.
I know
There's
exactly
a
what
new
you're
bumper
saying.
sticker.
Yes.
I am a group slut.
Yeah.
Upside down pineapple.
Yeah. No.
There's some people that just go and join whatever to be wherever. And
That reminds me of Fight Club, where he's in all the different support groups.
he's a group slut. Yeah.
It's like,
It's like anything. If you're going to be part of a group, either you're going to put something into it and you'll get something out of it, or you're just going to fill the seat and it's pointless.
Now, do you feel that being part of that group, like the people that are part of that group, does that make the bigger difference on how much you're going to fill that seat, right? Like, to me, if I'm going to go and join a group, I'm going to join a group that's a good group. Again, not everybody does that. They just join whatever, but I'm going to make sure I click with that group.
Yeah. We always encourage visitors and encourage people to visit twice, get a feel for the people in the room, not only on a personal level, but also are the businesses represented in the room going to work for you as well.
So I've been to a couple BNI groups as like a member and also as a guest in different chapters and things like that. And you guys, at some of the chapters I've been to, they'll do the topics like where they have a roundtable topic where there's a hard-hitting question that's presented. Like somebody's struggling with this. Let's, as a group together, figure out how to help you solve this problem that you're having.
That's my favorite part of those meetings.
Right. That's the only time I want to participate. Otherwise, I'm on my phone. So, but I'm just honest about it.
Note to self: don't ask Stephanie to be part of my groups.
I was part of your group.
Or have her check her phone at the door.
Right.
So, but it's just, so I like those more roundtable, real participating conversations. So as part of the topic for today, do you guys, will go around the table, but do you guys feel more comfortable as either men in business, women in business? Do you feel more comfortable honestly answering certain questions when it's your same sex group, or if it's a co-ed group, or it doesn't matter to you, you're going to say what you're going to say in front of whomever? So we could go around the table. Who wants to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
I have. Sorry, we can go left. It's
Go
still a circle. I have no problem whether it's men or women. Whether I say what I feel I'm working on or not. In my mind, co-ed is probably actually better. I think I would go with co-ed rather than just guys. Guys, I feel like I'm going to shoot the shit and I'm not going to get anything done.
So now,
Because I know that that's what's going to happen, and I'm okay with that, and I actually go to that for a reason. So if you want me to go and say, what am I going to get out of the guys group? I'm going to say a lot of fun, and I'm going to build camaraderie, or I'm going to,
So it's more of a social group than a business networking group. Like obviously you guys are like if you like the MINGS, for example. I don't know what you guys do, but I only see the pictures on Facebook. So I know you're the newest initiated member. So do you guys go there, and is it shop talk, or is it just let's burn off some steam, have a nice lunch, because you guys all understand the stressors as other business owners?
Okay, I've only been to one meeting, so am I allowed to give a?
I guess. What did you guys do at the meeting?
Yeah, are you allowed to?
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
I'm not saying give all the details of the meeting and the meeting notes because we don't have that kind of time. I'm just saying that when you go to that
Wait,
group.
you're supposed to take meeting notes?
He's obviously not the secretary.
Thank you.
If you go to these groups, okay, so let's say at BNI, there's an agenda. You guys have the starting 30 seconds, everybody does their pitch. Then you move on to said education. Then you move on to a topic. Then you have a little networking at the end, and then.
Yeah.
And then the guest share, whatever. At the MINGS event, is it structured, or you guys just show up, order lunch, whoever starts the conversation, that's what the conversation is?
Correct. It is an unstructured meeting.
We have a comment from avid listener Kent Jones.
Interesting. In a business setting, I like the co-ed better for a broader perspective and experiences. For a support group, I may feel safer sharing with just dudes in the group. That's a good comment.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, do you feel the same?
Nope.
Again, nope.
Absolutely
That
not.
was a fast no.
That's
Hard and fast no.
That was a hard, fast nope.
You are okay. You are safer sharing outside of just women.
Oh, absolutely. My best friends are guys.
So if there was a dudes group and you were the only lady, would you feel most comfortable there?
It really depends on the attitude of the group. I've been
periods. Or...
I don't have that anyway, so it's not even a conversation. But no, so I'm
quarters.
so I
sustained time fragments.
Right.
So in the industry that I am, if when I'm going to these women's groups, 9 out of 10 times it's going to be nobody in my industry at all. There is nobody there that is going to it's more
Be
health.
Close to your industry.
Yeah, close. Yeah, because it's more health and wellness and people who are spiritually gathering crystals, or that's just what seems to attract to these women's groups. Now if there's a men's group,
really?
Yes.
Wait, let's dive into that a little bit more then. So most ladies groups are not.
There's a lot of
functional, or
health
is there
and
no
wellness.
function to them?
I'm not saying that they're not functional. It's just that
Cosmic.
I deal with
Cosmetic or cosmic?
I feel like Christine and I are very similar in the energy that we project when we command a room.
Yes.
And so when you're going into a room full of women that either haven't developed their own brand or product, they don't know that struggle, and they're selling and representing somebody else's brand or product, or they openly tell you that their significant other is making enough money and this is what they do on the weekends. How seriously committed are they? It's just not on the same.
It's a different journey.
Level. It's not.
Yeah,
and
that's
but then also
journey.
women, they love to talk about feelings.
Yeah.
And anybody, well, most people in this room know me, and I don't do feelings. Like, it's not my thing. Like, I can sit there and talk to you, and I am a very compassionate person. Let me know what's going on, and I'm going to tell you, I'm so sorry you feel that. What can I do to help make you better? But don't cry on my shoulder. Don't sit there and try to get me to open up that way. That's just not how I am. Like, somebody, I went to one, and they wanted me to do, like, this, like, meditation, and I'm like, looking around the room, watching everybody do this. And I invited an HVAC lady with me, and we were making fun of it. I mean,
You didn't join George's BNI then?
but it's just, it's not my thing.
And BNI?
Well,
But it's just not my thing.
In some of the women's groups, though, like I've been shunned out of them because I do business and conduct business with men in business and women in business.
Yes.
Some of those women will only work with other women-owned businesses and only other women. I don't know what it's like in men's groups because I haven't been invited, but it's just like that really turns me off to wanting to work with them, because why would I cut my market down by 50% or more?
Right.
And why would I want to limit that? Like, if I have a service that can help all of these people and small business owners, why wouldn't I want to reach out and help everybody that I can help with my service and have a solid team behind me, or whatever, power partners or referral sources or whatever you want to say, that will also do the same for all of these people. Like, I can't go through my Rolodex and be like, oh, no, they won't work with blonde haired people. They won't work with women. They won't, like, I can't do that.
So for you guys, when it comes to guys groups, you may not be part of a guys group, but I think we all are part of groups of guys, right? Where maybe it's a golf league, or maybe it's something where you're meeting at once a week at the bar or something like that with a few of your guys. Fellows making shove a seat. Wait, all right. Kent Jones has another thing to say. Most men's group in business is fellows making shit up to see who has the lowest swinging Richard.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean,
guys have been doing, that's kind of the point I was getting at, just a little more roundabout. But guys have been gathering after work, right, in golf outings, right, doing certain things for years. This is not something that's new.
Well, it's just like those old school, like prohibition, like cigar bars where you have to have a membership. They still have them in the city where you go and pay a membership and it's men's only, and you go there, and I don't know what you do in there, but I know clients that are members.
Barbershops are one. Good call, Kent. I've seen you've been to one recently.
It probably goes back. It probably goes back to the caveman days, if you think about it, and who's showing up with the biggest club. And it's just the guys getting around to, to talk some shop and do a little grunting and having some fun.
Now, when you go to those guys groups, right, are you picking the group based on the lady? Like, if you show up to a group and they all want to, go play golf, if golf's your thing, are you going to play? Or like with this, is it you show up and all the guys want to sit around and talk about their,
feelings?
I was in a guys group, and it was much more focused on business. There was some overlap with personal, with life balance type of stuff. But it was mostly like, hey, I got this problem in business, or this problem with, a client or whatever it may be, this deal. And it was true problem solving. And then some of it was, hey, I've got this problem with my wife with the business type of thing, and trying to balance that out. That was just that one. I've been in other ones where it is more like,
does that group still exist, that one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Can I be a part of it? Would they? Serious? I'm asking.
They do have they started to open it up to like a co-ed type of thing. And it is really just, it's all business for the most part. It's all problem solving. It's all trying to work on a plan for that, because their philosophy is, listen, business is business, right? It's all kind of the same, no matter what the business is. This widget it's still a widget, right? but yeah, they did come into that whole life balance, if you want to call it that. Let's talk about,
Man, we can't even go
so-
down that road with
but-
that phrase.
Yeah, no, I don't. There's no such thing, But when you're an entrepreneur, but the point is, they did talk about that personal life as well. But it wasn't just like dudes hanging around, like whatever. In that group, there's been other groups that I've been in. There was a guys group that was literally, let's just shoot the shit and let's talk a little bit about it. It's like completely juxtaposed to that one. So I've seen both. And then me personally, I like co-ed because you do get to bounce things around. There is a little bit of that aspect of feelings from women or a different perspective depending on clients. Like not all your clients are going to be one sex unless in most industries, right?
Yeah.
So
nowadays especially.
Well, yeah. So yeah. So you do, for me, it's nice to see different, perspectives as far as problem solving and thought processes and the how people come up with a solution and whatnot.
Yes.
So
I dig that.
So if you guys are having a struggle
Very delayed.
in your business, do you feel more comfortable talking to someone of the same sex, or do you feel more comfortable talking to whomever? But then also on the flip side of it, if you're having a personal problem, do you feel like if I was having a problem with Rich, would I want to go to a female friend of mine or a male friend of mine and talk to them about those problems? Like personal problems, do you feel like the same sex kind of understands and you just want like a cheerleader in your corner? Or do you want an honest answer?
From the opposite sex? I think it depends on the human, not the sex.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, that's a fair point. Okay.
Yeah,
That's a fair point.
I agree that and also what is the problem? What is the issue? Whatever. What is that?
Yeah.
That's
What am I looking
exactly.
for? Do I
Right.
want a hug or do I?
yeah.
Carrie and I, every once in a while, because I'm not sure when she comes to me or I may go to her. Every once in a while, it's all right. Do you want comfort or a solution?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Do you want a hug?
I've heard
or
them
do you
say
want a
that.
solution? Do you want a hug or do you want a solution?
Yep.
What do you want right now? Because I'm not picking up what you're putting down as
Yeah.
far as what you're looking for, right? But if you want a hug, give you the care, right? If you want a solution, I'm ready with the solution, right?
Yeah.
Do you want comfort or a solution?
Well, like in my experiences from the networking groups and talking to people or even going to like functions like mixers and stuff, I've noticed that, not to pick on guys, but men of a certain age and demographic are not as sherry with me being a woman comparative to them talking to other men. But men of a different age are willing to talk to me and open up in more of a co-ed setting about wanting real advice about their business and direction.
Yeah.
So is it like maybe an age thing
Is
and
it
not a sex
is it
thing?
an industry thing?
No.
No, they were all in different
Okay.
industries.
Is it generational?
I mean, I've been to a
Yes.
point where like I've gone to a mixer and
Definitely.
I've approached a group of people and they've literally pivoted to cold shoulder me out of entering that circle to start talking to them in a mixer.
Wait, my question is, were
happened
they
in
really
Schaumburg.
tall and did they look right past you and not even see you?
Oh.
No. Oh, I guess that could be. I don't know. Maybe I'll retract my statement.
I have seen it with my ex. She was very successful in her industry, in the insurance industry, and her superiors would pretty much just downgrade anything she did.
Oh, wow.
Like she was number 4 in the world at her position, right?
Mm.
And they were just completely like, well, we're gonna go talk to this guy and get him in the boys club, right? So I have seen that through my ex's eyes
Yes.
of that boys club type of mentality and stuff like that. Yeah, so I get it, and that's why I ask industry, because I've seen it in industries, not necessarily generational, because these people weren't necessarily, they were all over the spectrum as far as that's concerned, age wise, but they were definitely in different industries that were.
Yeah.
Sales.
Do you also think it could be regional? There is a such thing as the Good Old Boys Club in the South.
I wasn't in the South. So.
I understand, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
What the-
What?
This conversation's going in a wrong direction, Joe. Business
I'm
only.
just saying. No. They're still down there. You
Yeah,
go
they
down
are.
there and you try and sell to a certain place, and if you're not in the Good Old Boys Club in that town, you're not part of the Good Old Boys Club.
Right. No, I get what
Right?
you're
Like you're not.
Yeah.
riding downtown with your white sheet on in your truck that night, are you?
Well, I'm okay with that. That's why I live up here.
Okay, so
I'm
anyway,
just
so
saying.
group like networking groups.
Well,
Right.
That's a
Not
networking group.
But okay. All right, touche. I guess touche.
Either
so-
way,
But
if you were to go
good
and be
old boy
part of a
clubs.
group or something like that, that's more for the socialization, right? What do you are you okay with whatever everybody says in that group? Are you okay? Like, are you picking that group because you want to be part of that?
So
yeah.
listener
Sad
says if you share a personal issue in a networking group, that shot will spread faster than a panhandle hooker.
Yep.
Come again?
Yep.
The gossip.
Yeah, that's
So he's talking
Yeah.
about
I gotcha.
a panhandle hooker is a meteorological term. It's about the
Yeah.
swoop of air. coming
But
up
so-
through-
I've learned with sharing with people in networking groups, anything personal,
Can't do it.
I can't, I don't, I don't think it's a good idea.
I mean, like, because, like, for example, it wasn't a personal thing. I mean, I guess
normally.
technically it's kind of
Right.
personal, kind of business, but like right after COVID, we had a big downtick because a lot of our clients, unfortunately, didn't survive the pandemic and they had to close their doors.
Yeah.
And I was at one of the first networking events after that. And somebody asked me, like, oh, how's business? Well, everybody says great. And I was like, well, I'm kind of nervous right now because I had quit my job 6 months ago and went all in on my business. And then COVID happened. And now
Yeah.
we just lost 30% of our client base. Like, now I'm like, well, I don't know what to do now. And they turned white as a ghost and turned around. And I was like, oh, I overshared. Overshared.
Yeah.
I'd say that that's more on them for
Yeah.
not being there to help you through that moment that you just opened up about.
Because I felt
you
like
know, and not on you.
even if it's not a pandemic, every business has gone through like a massive downtick at some point due to some extenuating circumstance or maybe even an internal circumstance. And so if you've
According
been
to
in,
my wife, every time we slow down in a little bit of
Yes.
business, we're in the worst.
Oh,
Right.
her and I both. Her and I both. What am I gonna do?
but it's
Are the
just
guys
like,
working?
you know, like I kind of rely on those networking groups or mixers to talk to other business owners that have been in business, maybe even if it's not the same industry, but
Yeah.
like maybe been in business a little bit longer than me and have been through like the 08 recession and they survived and this is how they survived and these are the few edits and tough decisions they had to make as a business owner and stuff. And like I like environments and groups like that. I feel like sometimes men are willing to share that a little bit more in the co-ed groups than other women business owners. I feel like they're a little bit more
Uptight.
nervous. Yeah, or whatever
Yeah.
you want. Insert whatever word. But like I feel like women, they'll share their feelings every time,
Uh-huh.
but they won't share their bottom line.
Details.
Yeah.
The
But
data.
like I feel like men will share that and be like, okay, well, this is what happened. I unfortunately had to let 3 people go to order to sustain this to survive the business. I had faith that the business would turn around. Then we did this and this, and they had like a whole plan. And I'm not saying that women can't do it because I do it. I know Christine can do it. I know
Carrie.
Carrie can do it.
Carrie
Yeah.
does
You
that.
know, I know a lot of strong women business owners. I know Dawn Bremer. I know a bunch of strong women business owners or business co-owners or whatever that could do something like that. But I just don't feel like they get as in the trenches of the financial sometimes.
Carrie will totally
Right. I mean, I talk to your wife all the time. So
dirty
I,
numbers. Yeah.
yeah.
I think it all depends on who you're talking to. I think I could walk into a networking group or a mixer, if
Well, can
you
you
will,
spot
right?
a person that's a sharer?
No, I don't just go up and spill my guts. I guess I.
Well, no,
walk
I'm
up
just
and
saying, like, have
I
you ever
introduce
been?
myself. Hi, I'm Joe.
I guess to the question to the
Nice
guys,
to meet
have you
you.
guys ever been iced out at a mixer?
Yes,
By
Yes.
who?
Yes.
By men or women or both?
both.
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 Never. I'm like, I've never been iced out. Sorry.
Honestly, I'm not saying that to be funny.
I'm with you, Kent.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. I've been to a lot of mixers. I also was.
Is it the joke you use to enter the conversation that got you iced out?
No.
Okay.
That's a fair question.
That's a fair question. Oh, that's
What's
hilarious.
to say that I use a joke to enter a conversation?
I've been at a lot of networking events with you.
And they always work, don't they?
Oh,
Yes, thank you.
The conversation happens whether you're standing there or you walked away, and it continues.
but
You're unforgettable.
But yeah, he's unforgettable. But it's in a good way. You can bring people happiness.
I don't try to. I guess, but I don't know. I'm curious to your guys's view or perspective on when you got iced out. But for me, it was when I clearly was in a spot where, I don't want to say people were like above me, but it's like you're hanging out with elitists, right? And
yeah, that's exactly what it was for me.
I'm not an elitist.
Yeah.
I can mingle. I can talk. Huh?
Huh? Give me
I'm the
name.
no.
So I know what an elitist is.
No. Elon Musk.
So
Pat Ryan.
So was
well,
George.
my experience with that has been going to maybe a new chamber or a new chamber mixer where I don't know a lot of the folks there, and the trying to interject yourself into a conversation or trying to do as much meet and greet as you possibly can. If the room or if that particular group is cliquey,
Yeah.
it can be tough.
Yes.
Mhm.
If they're not cliquey, it's a little bit easier, So,
I would add on to that is if you're new or the two times that I've had is either A, they're an elitist or they were way up there in the organization, whatever it may be, or B, I'm new or they just have that clickiness, right? And sometimes that might just be like, hey, I'm just here for the fun today, right? That might have been something in that situation where it's like they iced me out because they don't want to talk business. They don't want to deal with that right now. They don't want to get into that. They just want to be there for the fun for that time.
Yeah.
Social.
Maybe it's every time. Maybe it's just that time. I don't know, obviously. But yeah, those are the two times that I've seen. It's either the clickiness or it's the, leave me alone, kid. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, and people, their guard is up to some degree, and they don't want just anybody walking up and striking up a conversation. Maybe a second or a third visit to one of those groups, the walls break down a little bit. People warm up and they're opening and they're more receptive to talking with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Takes time sometimes.
Okay. That great point. Second, third, fourth time you see them, right? You've talked. Hey, I'm George. Hey, I'm Joe. Right? Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
3 or 4 times in a row.
Hey, good to see you again.
By the time the 5th time or 6th time comes around, do you feel you're okay enough to bust into that cliquey group that they're in?
It works for me. Yeah. It's right for me though.
If you add value, if you have to, I've found that you have to,
interesting.
Be some kind of value. They have to see something in there, which I always try to. For you, yeah.
Good jokes.
Add some kind of value if you're listening in, solve a problem, whatever it may be. So that's what I've noticed is for those clicky groups, it always comes down to, do they think you're going to contribute?
Yeah, absolutely. Or remember what they're saying.
Yeah.
So I have a very I was talking to Kent about this earlier in my calendar. I'm a paper calendar person. I write notes. Like if I have a first meeting with somebody, I'm going back to the car, not in front of them, but I'm writing the notes, their kids' names. How old are their kids? Are they in any sports? They were having a problem with this in business. Well, now I'm going to make it my business to figure out and try to help that problem. So I'm going to follow back up.
Absolutely.
Next time I see them or talk to them. But that's just kind of how I break the ice with those, because there is a good old boys club, especially in the construction side. I don't have to deal with it as much now because I've been around for a long time. Maybe a couple years. I'm only 22. But no. But now I don't have to. But at first, but before, when I was coming into construction, which was years and years, even before working with Restoration One, there's a good old boys club in construction.
There definitely
and
is.
If they don't know who you are, your company is, they don't want to talk to you because they think that you're just some. Yeah. So, but it's seriously, there was at first when I got into it, now it's a completely different story. Now they're like, oh crap, that girl's on the job site, or, oh, here she comes,
When I was in construction, my nickname was the boner killer. So nobody wanted me on job sites.
Button. I like that.
I don't have a nickname. Do I?
That was my nickname.
I don't have a nickname.
That's how I was known in the construction industry.
Do I have a nickname out there, Lord? Audience?
But
No.
have you guys ever been at a networking event where you've walked up just to introduce yourself and the immediate response is, I don't need a bookkeeper or I don't need an insurance guy?
Oh yeah.
Because, but you weren't even necessarily looking for, I guess your nickname in the industry is the witch.
Oh, it
That
is.
true. That is actually true.
Yes, you're right, Josh. You're right.
Good call, Josh.
I guess-
with a small W.
Yeah, it's not.
So I guess from now on, I'm gonna change your name in my phone to the Bruja.
yes.
But have you how many times? Like I feel like it's happened to me with more women that I've approached, where their immediate response is, "I don't need a bookkeeper. I don't need this." Well, I'm not looking to sell you my service. I'm just trying to get you to know me. So maybe if you know somebody that wants my service, I would be more
It
than happy
happened
to
to me
help
today.
them. Or when you get big enough and you need help, or when you are small enough and you run into a QuickBooks problem and you just need a 10-minute call, like I'm
Yeah.
available, so
It happened to me today. So
like you have to sign today in blood.
I have an event that I'm trying to promote through contractors in the area. I want all of us contractors to get
Oh, yeah, I saw
together
that. I
to
felt
do.
very excluded.
Oh well, you can. You don't have to. You know what? I've got a perfect opportunity for you. During this event, how would you like to be one of the sponsors of the events? It's going to put you in front of all the contractors in the area. We'll
All
talk
right.
about it later. I got you.
All right, I'll sponsor the Chicky Nuggets.
All right. But so I walk into a business that I have never done business with. They don't know who I am. And it's a local company here. And I walked in, I said, "Hi, my name is Christine. I'm with Restoration One." They're like, "Well, we're not looking to add a restoration company." I said, well, that's very nice. I'm glad to hear that. You feel that way. I go, "Well, I'm not here for that reason." I go, "I'm actually here to try to build your business." I go, "Are you interested in that or not?" And that
I was gonna say, how many people have a combat to somebody that's like, "Yeah, I don't need you."
Yeah.
Oh, great. I didn't want you.
So have you guys
Right? Like,
ever gotten that response at a networking thing and be like, "I don't want that," or "I don't need that"?
I don't need you.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're in an
Yeah.
industry too.
Kent says,
Oh.
in my experience in mixers, people don't want to get to know Kent, but they put up walls as I may be a competitor of theirs. In George's case, oh boy, another insurance guy.
Oh yes.
I mean,
Realtors,
that's
insurance, loan
real-
officers.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. There's
Another
several.
financial advisor.
There's several,
Mhm.
industries we could tick off on our hand, right? That you walk into the room and they go, "Another one of these guys," right?
Yeah.
How do you combat that?
I don't know.
Oh.
I usually
Does
just-
anybody have an answer?
I've had it happen, once or twice, and to me, it's more of like, how can I help you get more clients?
Similar to Christine.
Yeah, like how can I help you
I'm here
get
to help
more
you,
clients?
not-
How can I add value to your
Yeah.
business to get more clients?
Okay.
What is that?
Derek Hartman, financial planner, or get that response, or I'm with company A. I'm good. Right?
Yeah.
Hey, don't worry. I'm with ABC
Right,
company.
but it's
don't
just
worry.
like
Yeah.
it never. I don't know. I feel like it never hurts to shop, but I don't know if anybody else is experiencing this problem. But in my industry, there's a 35% shortage right now of accounting and bookkeeping up and comers, and a lot of people are starting to retire.
Well,
so
yeah.
there's
That's
a
like
lot of
every trade.
So there's a lot of
Yeah.
firms that are maxed out right now, and it's hard for me even to find CPAs. Like I've gotten to the point where now I've found a CPA firm that will take on clients, but they're in Washington. Like I've had to extend my outreach to try and make sure I could help my clients and help other small business owners. And just like today, somebody called me and they have a franchise with 14 locations. And their specific industry is an industry I don't particularly like to work in. So I told them, no, thank you. But I know another bookkeeping firm locally that could take on that capacity that could help them. And
Yeah.
so so if I would have never met this person at a golf outing, I would have never known this other bookkeeping firm that could facilitate these clients that I can't take on and I have overflow, or it's an industry I don't particularly touch.
Well, it's, I think Ken said this to me years ago. It's not about the two people in the room that you're going to sell that day. It's about the 98% that you're going to sell, or the
Absolutely.
business is going to come down the road, right? That's what it's always about.
It is.
And I think for me, it's presenting that value in a non-threatening way. I mean, so many people come and go, hey, here's my business card. What can I do for you? What can I, in a sales way, instead of saying, hey man, this is what I do. You already know that. How can I help you get more clients, or how can I help you get more business, or what are you lacking right now? What do you need?
I agree to that 100%, because when in our industry, if you're having an emergency, you're not going to be right there.
Right.
It's not going to happen. So how am I going to benefit you? And during the process of me benefiting them, I let them know, hey, like, oh, this situation, I let them know little things that I do throughout the process. So I'm planting my seeds, as Carrie likes to call it. I plant my seeds constantly throughout the relationship, so that no matter what, and they have a problem, they know, oh my God, if I need to clean the scene, I'm calling Christine. Doing those little things and giving them those, hey, I've got a perfect person I want to introduce you to. I was able to do this for their clients, so they know what I'm doing, but I'm putting them in front of them to benefit them.
Yep.
But still planting my seeds along the way.
To loop this back to men's versus women.
Oh,
do you, well, I'm just trying to, do y'all feel like this kind of thing, you get better traction maybe if you were to go to a specific sexual orientation group? Sorry, that sounded weird.
That sounds like a whole nother show.
I feel like I feel like there has to be, and I know there is, like a women's group that is like a Power Players women's group that does more like roundtable kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Those I would happily join and advocate for and be part of, because that's what I am seeking out for my business personally.
I was going to say, I know some ladies that are in these like power groups.
Right.
That
so
really
I know
make
that
a
they're
difference.
out there. I just haven't
experienced.
When you find one,
you
let me
haven't
know.
experienced a good woman before?
Unless we make one ourselves.
women's group.
I was going to
They
say,
made
and that's the question
It's a made up group.
that's the question I had for you ladies. It seems like a lot of the marketing, or a lot of the groups you go to are more that multi-level, stay at home, blah, blah, blah. It's more of a support group than it is an actual problem solving, networking,
I
stuff like that. It's not a business. You're a rep.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You're not building anything. You're just repping something. Whereas
branding, it's a branding experience from start to finish. There is nothing else going on if I go to
just drinking wine.
Well, that too.
But we're also not saying though, on the flip side of it, like I know a few women that have been very successful in their careers with MLMs and
right. No, I'm not saying that.
So because I know that there's other networking groups that have bashed MLMs but it's not the vibe that we're looking for.
I guarantee you can go into Chicago, right? You're going to find every different quality of women's networking.
Obviously,
right?
Yeah.
Elite,
the whole range,
elite to the absolute wine drinkers that are just pounding bottles during their to wine and cry or whatever.
What I'm saying is they're unrelatable. Like you're not gonna be able to say like, hey, I have to hire somebody. They're never going to have to go through that. They've never built, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's kind of to me where you're picking what group you're part of, right?
You have
to pick, hey, I want to be in the elite group. I could be an MLM that sells, right? The bags, right? The little stitched bags.
31.
Yeah, whatever it is. Right, correct. 31, right?
Pay attention. I write notes.
Right. So I could be selling something like that, but I could do very well because everybody in there is elite and they're able to spend the money, and therefore they have friends that can spend the money. So I can be that good, right?
I just feel like it's just a different vibe overall. Like what Sam's saying, like if you're having to build a business from the ground up, you have employees, you have people you're responsible for, there's a whole different set of pressure and expectation on you as an owner than there is somebody that's branding a product. It's very different, and
supporting other people.
It's very difficult.
I get what you're saying.
You're not going to
totally
understand if I come in and was like, I had to fire this person. Now I have to figure out what I'm going to do with 60 clients, and I got to work until midnight every day until this happens.
Or let's cancel yours. I don't know if I agree with your statement. So you said
you can't agree with it.
I would say that the strongest groups are those formed outside of the Chamber of Commerce. I am not throwing the shame to the chambers. The other groups seem to have a different level of participants. Yes, but no, you pick your people from those chambers.
Yeah.
So how did I meet all of you guys? How did I meet all of you guys? I met you
called
all
me,
through
you
the
were supposed
chamber.
to be my chamber rep, and then I told you no, thank you, and then
And
you
then-
said okay, and then I saw you at a networking event, and then you knew my ex coworker's husband.
Yeah.
Again,
That's how I met you.
I love the chambers. I'm not throwing shade at the chambers, but what I'm saying is, in a group, I've got a plumber, could be the manager of a plumbing company. In a mastermind group outside of the chamber,
Yes.
I have CEOs.
Yes.
I have
Okay.
owners. I have CFOs. That's
Yeah.
what I say. when
Yeah,
I'm saying
okay.
a different
Generally
level.
speaking, generally speaking.
A different level
Yeah.
in those masterminds, because sometimes masterminds are like, you got to spend $2,500.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
BNI has a different level
Masterminds,
and
right?
expectation
Right.
than a chamber.
Yeah.
If that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I would agree with that, and I would say that the Chamber of Commerce groups can get, and this is this
Careful,
is almost,
George.
Yeah,
this is-
easy
yeah,
there, George.
yeah.
I see your brain,
There's a line.
That's
Defense.
shame. That's
There's
important.
No
Well,
shade thrown
No,
at
no.
anybody. This is an open conversation.
Open conversation. BNI, to Ken's point, some people will also call it business networking with intent. We go in
Right.
there with an expectation and a level of
Accountability, though.
accountability as part of
Mhm.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
because if you're not producing, you get kicked out of BNI. Like if
In
you don't,
theory, if you,
but I'm just saying, if you
the-
follow
if
the
group-
bylaws and
in-
rules,
right, right.
Yeah.
In theory,
You will
if the group,
if you're
follows
not if
it.
you're not producing and you're not there
Yeah.
actively participating, they will put somebody else in your chair
Right.
that will actively participate. Because
Yeah.
I've gone to
Yeah.
I've gone and been a visitor at not only BNI groups
That's
but
the
also
accountability.
chamber groups
Then you
where
don't get your money.
it's like they have this
I
person
think
sitting
that's
there
the key right there.
like because it's
Yeah.
like okay, like Derek I think is alluded to like conversations in the green room where he's had a hard time breaking into some of these networking groups being a financial planner because everybody's like, oh well, in my networking group I have a financial planner.
Right. I already got one.
And-
We already got one. That's
and
like
it's
that
not-
insurance,
Yeah.
real estate.
Right.
They're all the first ones to get filled. Mortgage. Yep.
But it's just like you
Yep.
don't know him as a person. And like I've told people before, like the difficult thing for me in networking groups, and I know Christine and I have had private conversations about this also, is that just because you're in my networking group doesn't mean I'm going to refer to you. Like if I use it, like, because usually I'll be a tester. Like I will test you out. I will let you quote my insurance, quote my mortgage, go through that process with you. And if you can't execute in a way that I feel is acceptable, I will not refer you to my clients. And I don't care if I'm paying $700 plus to be in a networking group with you. And that would be any group. A
I want to
women's group, a
revert
men's
back to
group, a co-ed
the
group.
700 plus, right? Like, is the number what drives us to make that networking group better, or
No.
the dollar amount you invest to pay, right? Is that why
No, for
a
me, it's the
BNI
people.
or a mastermind, right? 2,500 for a mastermind. You said that. It's like what, 1,000, 1,200, something like that,
Mhm.
right? 800 for a BNI, whatever it may be. Is that larger number? Because that's well over what a chamber is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so
but
is
like-
in,
like right
in
now-
terms of
But like, I guess I would have to look at it as if I have a need in my business. Right now, I'm on a path of growth. In 2024, I want to do a little bit more of a growth strategy.
I hope to hit 5.9 this
Yeah.
year.
So like, I want to do a more aggressive growth strategy in 2024.
Okay.
So by me wanting to do that, I would rather seek out other business owners that either have hit that level of success and how they did it, or they're on the same
Right.
path and we can compare notes.
I
Mhm.
just joined
Like,
a
that would be what I would want to look at.
I just joined a mastermind out in Schaumburg. You know, there are certain people in Schaumburg that are just the sipping the wine, just the showing up at networking groups, or doing the whole, this is my business. This is, my 30 seconds doing the thing, but offer nothing. So we have a strategic group of people that are looking for a specific amount of growth in the next year.
Mhm.
And we will focus on that specific amount of growth. And we're all bringing to the tables, this is what I need to hit my goal. I told them I need lunch and learns. I want lunch and learns. That's one of my big focuses this year, to get people's office. I want to be in front of them. I want to explain to them what I can do to help them out. And then I want to be able to follow up. we only talked like we only sent one email going out of just saying whatever our focus are. I've got 3 lunch and learns already set.
That goes back
a weekend.
That men's mastermind group, whatever you want to call it, was expensive. And that's what it was. It was like, hey, what are the targets for the year? What are the targets for the quarter? What are the targets for this? How are we getting, who's relating? Like who's having the same problem? Let's figure this out. So we're hitting those targets. We're hitting those things. Yeah.
So,
Well,
go ahead, George.
I would say that if you're looking at a group that has a price tag associated with it, and you're seeing a higher and higher price tag with a different type of group, you may be also getting the benefit of meeting the CEO, of meeting the really serious networker. Whereas in other groups with a lower price point, you might not.
Well,
if it's a price point conversation.
Well, I mean, you know, at the chambers, I can say I've got a team of 40 people, and because you wear my business name on your shirt, you can go to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, I've got, you know, Jimmy Dunce over here going in for me. To be in a group because I'm thinking branding, and Jimmy's like, I don't have to be at work right now. You know,
yes,
what I mean?
Right.
So many of those.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to that caliber, right? Like you were saying, like, and full disclosure, this was $6,000 a year, so it's like, you know, but so that's, you know, there's obviously masterminds that are, you know, we all know there's tens and whatever thousands of dollars, but you know, the caliber and the problems and the solutions are also elevated. You know, it's not just somebody coming in and saying, hey, this is my pitch for 30 seconds. And, you know, so.
Okay, I got a challenge. You can go. What? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I like what you were doing at the networking group that you were forming, where when it was just members only, we no longer did the 30 seconds because everybody knows each other already. It was hey, I need this, or I have a question of this.
Can you put me in front of this
we
person?
Have no like outsiders here, like let's like kind of strategize and do that. And you were doing like a members only meeting once a month, you know? Like, so it was,
I agree.
Like, I feel like that was a really good strategy.
In my mind,
that makes
okay,
sense.
so my mind is I'm struggling with the cost versus the benefit, right? I don't think cost is directly correlated. I think it is semi-correlated in the sense like cost goes up, you're going to put more effort into the group because the cost has gone up and you want to get your money out of it, right? You want your ROI.
ROI.
Yes.
Right? I want this group to make sense to me. So my question would be, is it really the cost, or is it more so the contribution that, or no, it's a different word. It would be, does everybody hold each other accountable? Is it accountability in the group that really drives the group?
Well, I think that the barrier to entry, first of all, creates because you have a different right. You have that's first of all,
and you raise accountability just by the
right.
That
because your caliber of person, first of all,
correct,
is going to be more accountable. Is there for business? Is not, you know. So yes, the price tag has some kind of, you know,
value
to it.
Like
I hate to say it, but
and barrier to entry,
it is.
Right?
You know, it's a self-filtering thing.
You're not getting some. I hate to throw my name under the bus. Joe Schmo that goes and starts a restaurant because it costs money to start a restaurant.
Right.
Right. You can get a Joe Schmo that goes and starts a MLM because it doesn't cost much to start an MLM.
Yeah.
I mean,
certain ones.
I don't know. I mean, like, but you also have to be realistic when you go into these networking groups, ultimately, whether it's a women's group, a men's group, or a co-ed group. Like somebody in my industry, I'm not going to get as many leads and referrals as somebody that's a B2C business. It's just the reality of it. Or even like in Kent, even though he's B2C with doing mortgages, because how many times are people really going to buy a new house and refi their mortgage and stuff like that? Like you have to be go into any group with a realistic expectation and not be that person that's going to say, screw you guys, I'm taking my ball and going home. Like you have to be an adult about it and know what you're getting. Like you have to know what you're getting into when you're joining these networking groups ultimately. Like I know that I've gone and had conversations and stuff, even with like Eric Vicencio, who does IT services. Like it's the same thing. Or even you guys, like,
yeah,
I might meet you, but my water main didn't burst today, but it could burst tomorrow.
Okay. I don't ever go into a networking group to get business.
But some people do.
A lot of people do.
Most people do.
Right.
Oh, you do? You are? You are? Yeah. I won't walk into a networking group to get business. That is not my goal.
I go to
in a networking
educate.
Group.
Yeah. Educate and add value.
I'm actually not even going to educate or add value. I love that.
It's about creating a relationship.
Ooh,
in my
you're
opinion.
getting closer to where I'm at.
Yeah.
Where are you at?
Yeah.
I'm at, and I'm going to meet people, to meet other people, to meet other people. I am simply going to expand.
So
my
Joe
net.
wants to go 3D.
Yeah.
I am going to.
You're looking for the referrals. You're looking for the
I'm
spider
looking
web
for the
of
people of the people of the people,
network.
right? Like I'm looking to build my web. Yeah, I'm
Yeah, no,
not
I get it.
going
Yeah,
into a
I get it.
networking because if you stick to that one networking group, you're talking what 8, 10, 12, 20 people in that circle, and then you're literally just getting what those people touch.
Well, so I have a question then about that. So actually, Rich and I were just talking about.
Why don't you give me the dunce on that one? That was worth it.
I was being distracted with
Or the crowd. You have a tape measure in your hand.
So here, Rich and I were talking in the green room right before the show started, and we were going through and reviewing our numbers from last year, like where our leads came from, what networking groups, what people, what referrals, blah, blah, blah. We were going through all of that, and then we were looking at some historical data because, you know, once you go down that rabbit hole, you're in it. And so have you guys experienced the situation where you were part of an active networking group and the second you leave, you lose like 80% of those people that were your clientele that were part of that networking group or you got from that networking group and now they're gone with no like real rhyme or reason?
Well,
are we talking about the same networking
There
group?
is a reason you left the group.
Yeah.
So it's just like
I think
like,
we're talking about the same
like it makes me
online
hesitant.
group.
Right. Like it makes me hesitant to join networking groups or BNI groups or
Certain ones.
chamber groups or whatever. Like it makes me hesitant because of the experience I've had as a business owner where people were like referring me. And then the second I dropped out, all of a sudden I lost all of those referrals and all those clients, like 80% of them.
The
like,
clients
right
dropped
off the
too?
jump.
Were they clients of?
They were
friends and friends or associates or whatever. Like
they weren't the actual people in the group.
A couple people were in the group, but not.
Still, that's amazing.
But it's just like I mean, we run those analytics. I mean, I know you guys track that stuff in your
I know,
business,
because that's why I knew exactly what you were talking about because I track that.
That makes me hesitant as a business owner in general with the networking groups because I've had this happen to me, and like now I don't know like.
Again, I'm going to revert back to: do you know who's in the group? Do you know what they're
I
about?
thought I did, but apparently not.
Well,
so I'm like Joe. So I join these groups solely for the reason that if one of my clients needs something, I can say, I got a guy.
Yeah.
Great. Yep.
And the reason is
I got a human.
And the reason is because I've got, as we all do, 17 friends who are insurance agents. But I can go, you know what? Sam isn't going to get along with blah.
Absolutely.
But he is going to get along with George. Let me send him to George.
Right.
Knowing
I don't
who
know
that
any
guy,
other,
who George
any other
is.
bookkeepers.
Right.
Because frankly, Steph has scared me. I don't look for him. Let's be honest, right?
Was she standing on her soapbox when she did that?
That's hilarious.
That's on the soapbox.
I feel like I am like the rat from Zootopia. That's what I feel like.
Oh, no way.
Like the mouse from Zootopia.
Right.
That's what I feel like I am.
Correct.
With the polar bears.
So like in a BNI group, they're going to be like, hey, you need to have so many referrals or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as a mortgage guy, I don't know when one of my clients are going to need a
shit cleanup
auto mechanic, right?
Yes.
But if they come to me, I can say, hey, I've got a guy, you know.
That's how I expect you to refer to me from now on, Derek.
Mr. Big Steph.
Every email you send me better be like that.
So that's why I'm not good in a BNI because they're like, hey, you haven't given a referral. Well, I may not,
Right.
because the person that's in that BNI group may not go with Sam. Sam may not like George, and I go
Exactly.
I can't give him to George.
Exactly.
right?
But you
I
can
have
give
to protect-
connection meetings,
So
though.
I
that's
have to protect that relationship.
that to me is where when I'm talking to people and I'm going into a networking group, I'm meeting people. I want to get to know somebody. So whatever, I leave the group, I'm not
Correct.
Yeah.
I agree.
dropping all those referrals that are coming in. I'm still in communication and relationship with those key people that I know. Yeah, am I gonna let the person that sells Mary Kay go and not connect with her? Probably, because she's not gonna find me a plethora of business.
Right.
In my opinion, if networking groups are there to be like, it's an ebb and flow, right? You kind of go from one to another, maybe for the most part, because if you've exhausted one, that's kind of what you're there to do, is build a network, build the web, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. If you're losing people when you leave, that was something shitty going on, because you should have had, like, they should have stuck with you. They should have been doing business.
It was
like,
a very manipulative
Now
situation.
That could be shitty
I
on you,
had
though.
something
Well,
happen to
That
me-
could be your
It
fault,
could
not
be.
their fault.
I had a thing happen the other day on Facebook where a current client of mine is part of a different networking group, and they referred a different accounting firm.
Oh, I know. Yep.
Because they're part of that networking group.
Yes.
But they use me.
Yeah.
They don't
See,
use somebody else.
That's
Yeah.
that
Well, they
surface
wanted
deep,
the-
like,
That is, but you're
leads
referring
crap.
them
Yeah.
on public, but you use me.
right. That's,
Yeah.
see, that's
Like
shady.
that is like the world's biggest slap in the face.
Either have
It is.
integrity or don't. You know what I mean? Like,
I wouldn't call that the biggest slap in the face.
Like I feel like that's crazy.
But
Hang on, we're running out of time.
we're close.
We have to.
Yeah,
What we
what did we
learned?
learn?
What did we learn today? Let's wrap this up. What did we learn today?
Yeah. We got a lot of people. What did we learn?
I mean, we got to make it quick. I learned that.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, George. We do a "What did you learn?" segment.
What did you
at the
learn
end of the
today?
show.
All right.
What did you learn at the
Well,
end?
if I'd have been here early, I'd have gotten in a little show
it's
prep.
in the
right?
know, so you got to
Yeah.
tell what you now know.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I learned that Steph will like go down with the
Mr.
sword.
Big
If,
Steph.
what?
Mr. Big Steph.
Mr.
Yeah.
Big Stuff. She'll take it down if she needs to with somebody to make sure her name survives in the networking group.
I liked a lot of what Sam said, and as far as like asking for those mastermind groups, asking those questions and getting around the right people don't do that enough. And whether what industry you are, whether you're a man or a woman or unidentified, you find your group and find what you can learn off of them, and do they mesh with you? You know, that's what I got.
Love that.
I would say that the two things I learned is, one, if I could, I wouldn't join a women's group at this point.
Sorry, ladies.
Fair. Fair.
Wait a second.
Second.
XY single. Like, you're talking about.
Second of all, I think it does twofold. It is a pay to play world, right? And it is all about the caliber of person. To me, it is about the caliber of person, and pick those groups wisely, as you said, right? It's who's in the group, and not necessarily what they have to offer, because everyone has different things to offer, but who's in the group? Are they a CFO? Are they a CEO? Are they
Accountability.
right?
And do they hold themselves
Exactly,
accountable,
like,
right? Like
yeah.
accountability to me is the huge thing
Mhm.
for a group,
Yeah.
for success of a group.
Right.
I think this kind of reaffirmed for me that it's not necessarily gender-based or generation-based on how you're going to get along with your referral and your networking partners.
Mhm.
Each group is unique unto itself, and the people that you meet in that group, you're going to form a professional relationship with, or you're going to form a personal relationship with.
Yeah.
And,
Or both.
or both, and then how
Yeah.
that vibe continues on is really what it's all about.
Love that.
I think it just, I mean, to play off of George, I think for me, it just confirmed that it doesn't matter whether it's a women's group, a men's group, a co-ed group. You just have to find your people.
Yes.
And if you could find other like-minded business owners, those networking groups will be successful because you guys are all driving to that same goal and same aspiration and accountability. But But yeah, I guess I don't know. I
Good,
agree
good
with Sam.
humans. Sum
I
it
think
all
maybe
up.
maybe
Good
I think after
humans
this I
that
might
hold
try
themselves
and
accountable
That add value.
and
I'm
they
gonna
add value.
start my
Yep.
own networking group. I feel like after this whole
All right,
thing.
we're doing
Man,
it.
It's
Go.
gonna be the
Let's do it. Mastermind, the McHenry.
MINGS.
The masterminds of McHenry.
I learned that
There you go.
Steph and Christine get along better with dudes, so I'm starting a shirtless referral group. All men. You guys can
Kent
come.
Jones, we are on the same page. I was going to add.
Wait, if
we
I
need.
show up, are you guys gonna feel bad?
It's a shirts and
Oh.
skins.
So
Okay.
I guess shirts have to talk about feelings, skins get to talk business. So,
Okay.
Take a poison.
Take a poison.
Oh, that's what I learned today.
Oh, I love it.
I was going to add that we should all network naked, but how much business are we going to get done?
A lot of business, George.
Hold outside, Frank.
Why'd you look at me when you said Frank?
I was in the pool.
Yeah.
Frank the Tank.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how you guys live with
Oh, that's so funny.
Great show, y'all. Be safe.
Outstanding.
Thank you very much. We'll see you
2 weeks.
Peace.